Buongiorno America, buonasera Italia, benvenuti a tutti, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Romina Montanari and I'm the manager of food and wine event at Italian Cultural Center. Minneapolis is the prime non-profit organization for promoting the Italian language and culture in the Twin Cities. Today, we're presenting this new series that is called Storie di famiglia, made in Italy, meet the people behind the label. And we're doing this series every Sunday from 12:30 to 1:30 Central Time in the month of June. And this is the episode 3, Labor of Love, Wine Family of Piemonte, meet the Grasso and Deltetto family. Before we start, I want to give you some housekeeping tips. For example, keep yourself muted, please. Use the speaker view. When we show you the picture, please, if you chose the show active speaker video, you will have a better view of the speaker and the picture. And I want to let you know that we are recording and that we are in Piemonte. So with the Piemonte is a hilly area, so the internet sometimes could have problem, could have issue. Suzanne is going to interview the two family for 40 minutes, and the last 20 minutes is going to be for question and answer. But please write your question in your chat. I can call out your name and you can ask the question directly to the participant. For right now, I'm so happy that we have here Suzanne. Suzanne, she's an attorney and the author of the book Labor of Love, Wine Family Women of Piemonte. She's from Colorado. And then we have two families from Italy. We have the Grasso family. They are in the 4th generation in the wine business. Over the years, they'll be adding vineyards around their farmhouse in Treviso, in the Barbaresco wine growing area. Then we have the Deltetto family. They're producing wine since the late 1800s, but actually the Carlo grandfather, Carlin Deltetto, founded the current winery in 1953, and now Carlo and his two sisters, Christina and Claudia, they are managing and the operation of the business. So welcome everyone. I'm so happy that everybody's here, okay? Because this is a special event with a global audience and we have a chance to meet the family in Italy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Romina. It's such a pleasure. It's really an honor to be able to present families, not just their wines, but the families. The stories are so important, because that's really what makes the families. That's what's kept them together. It's what helped them survive so many problems and economic issues and war and occupation and fascism in the early part of the 20th century. So we're so grateful to them that they have the courage, that their ancestors persevered, and here they are today having to go through some really bad times, but still keeping a smile on their face and still providing us with wonderful wines to drink. Today, we are in 2 different regions. We are in Barbaresco and Roero. And if you see in the upper left-hand corner of this map, you can see where Piemonte is located in Italy. It is the 2nd largest region of Italy, 2nd to Sicily. So it's the largest land-based region. And we're going to start today with Barbaresco, which is located in the Langhe area. It's not a political division, it is a wine area. And so Barbaresco, the first one we are going to talk about is Baio. And as you can see, Baio is located near one of the 3 villages of the Barbaresco denomination, 3.5 villages, because we have to include San Rocco San Odelvio. And the Grasso family of Baio is located in Treviso. So this is what Treviso looks like. And when you see the mountains way in the distance, those are the Cottian Alps. And I took this picture in the autumn of 2018. And it's, if you imagine on the other side of this ridge is where you go down to Baio. So I'm going to turn it over to Valentina Grasso, who's she is one of the three sisters of the Grasso family, along with her two sisters, Federica and Paola. They own the winery now, and they work together very closely with their mother and father, Luciana and Giulio. So welcome, Valentina.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you for the invitation. I'm a bit excited.
We lost
Can you hear
me? Yeah. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah, now yes. So thank you for the explanation. You know much better than us the area now. So today it's my turn. So I'm the sister number 2. And yeah, I can tell a little bit about Baio and the history. So the first things that I can tell that the dominant gender in Baio is female. So my father is supported and surrounded by a group of women. So first my mother, and then me with my sister. So he's a very lucky man. And yeah, but our history started a few generations ago with my ancestor, the Grasso Giuseppe. So the vineyards and the estate have been handed from father to son, and it was very typical in the past that men used to carry on the family tradition. Now it's different, and it has been normal to see a lot of women in Barolo, in Barbaresco, in Monferrato winery to carry on the tradition. So at the moment we are working all together, so it's a real pleasure to work with my sister. It's a lot of fun. There is a lot of passion to carry on what we have, and our roles are different but complementary. So we try to taking care and follow all the aspects of the wine production and the viticulture, from the vineyards until the winemaking in the cellar, and also the boring bureaucracy. And we work also with our parents and the 5 beautiful collaborators that are with us since many years.
Valentina, we have this on the, sorry to interrupt you, but I want to orient everybody. Could you tell us a little bit about the photo that's on the screen right now?
Yeah.
Do you see the aerial photo of the drone?
One moment. Now oh yeah, also now I can see it.
What did that area look like when your great-great-grandfather, your great-great-great-grandfather, your Trisnono, came to the area? What did it look like? What was in that valley by Baio?
The beginning, the valley was a wood. So there was a big wood of truffle. So my ancestors started to remove the woods and started to plant vineyards. But in the past, there wasn't only vines, but a multiculture. So there were animals, there were vines, there were cornfield, there were multiculture. And then through the years, the focus became the vines. So from my grandfather Ernesto, we really focus 100% on the vines and winemaking.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about the history with your grandfather, with Ernesto. Tell us a little bit. This is
So
what
the
it looked like in his day, is it not?
yeah, yeah. This is a recent photo. Yeah.
No, not that recent.
We took 3 summers ago. Yeah.
No, we're looking at the black and white photo, the
Oh,
old photo.
yeah. Here you can see the original, yeah, the old house where my grandfather, his grandfather, and father grew up. So you can see a lot of woods, but also where you can see vineyards. There was a lot of fields of corn and rye. So everything started with my great grandfather that decided to move from Astigiano land, from Asti land to Lange, because the land in Lange was cheaper. So he was a poor man, and he decided to purchase here in Treviso because it was cheap.
And then now that there's what it looks like today.
Yeah.
And we can see in the distance a big hailstorm. I remember the day that Pierangelo Vaquero, our photographer for the book, took that photo. It was a big hailstorm that day.
Yeah, yeah. This is the risk we have every summer with the hailstorm.
And over here, where I'm showing my cursor, there's the house. And what vineyards are this just next to the house? As I'm looking at the house to the left. Is that the Valle
Barbera? Yeah, really close to the house is Barbera Vineyard.
Right.
Up in the hills we have Nebbiolo grapes and Nebbiolo vines. Yeah.
And on this side, what do we have on the right side?
So on the right side, from the middle hill upper, we have again Nebbiolo. From the middle hill down, we have Barbera and Moscato.
Mm-hmm. And what's the new vineyard up here going to be? What is that now? You planted this vineyard. What is that now?
Nebbiolo to become Barbaresco in a few years.
And there's your house up on the ridge. So looking down from Villa Giulia, there's a present day look. Yeah. And then now there's the family. So we see the family, we see Giulio and Mama and your 3 sisters with Paola in the middle. And I should make a point that Paola is the wife of Carlo, who you'll hear from in a few minutes. Now, who is this? Are you seeing the ID card?
Yeah, this is my great grandfather Luigi, that I never met because I was born many years after he passed away, and he was very passionate about horses. So the reason why we have the horse in our label, because Luigi was very passionate about horses, and he used to have 2 bay. So bay means brown color horse.
And that's the Baio. And there's your grandfather, Ernesto, and your grandmother, right?
Yeah, in the other photo. Yes, these were my grandparents from my father's side. Yeah, from my father's side.
There's your father and mother. Because I know what you'd like to talk about today. I want to hear more about the green experience. Will you please tell us? There's your dad. I love that photo. And you and your sisters. And you and your father. But tell us about the green experience.
Green experience, yeah. So green experience is a sustainable viticulture certification that we decided to start to communicate on our back labels for our consumers in a way that they know how we work. So we work for the quality, and we work in a sustainable way. Green Experience was born in Piedmont with the help of Coldiretti. So Coldiretti is our consultant for viticulture, and is dedicated to Piedmontese wines, and it protects the production method and the natural reserve, and also it helps to take care of our landscape. And I think is very important, and with the perseverance we had working well all the vineyards in our area, in 2014 we entered in the UNESCO World Heritage. So it's a very good recognition that we are very happy about.
Tell me, Green Experience has two levels. Would you tell me the difference between the two, and also which one appears on the Baio labels? Which one is Baio certified in?
So in the Baio labels appears the one on the left, so with the Green Experience, with just Green Experience, and at the moment is very good because there are 101 wineries that adherate to this project, and 967 hectares. It is around 2,600 acres for you in America. So it's a lot. And the Green Experience has these rules. So sustainability for viticulture, respect for the soil. So no chemical weeding or no chemical product for the grass, but only sustainable practice, like cutting the grass with a mechanical machine, or green manure practice are allowed. Then the sexual confusion with the hormones to fight the animals that like tignola. So tignola, for example, is an insect that bites the vines and create botrytis. And a very natural way to fight tignola is to put little hooks every 1 meter with pheromones that create confusion, and so there is not a reproduction of this insect, and much less illness in the vineyards. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a very good way to fight naturally.
Yeah. So you are organic, right? You are an organic winery. Is that correct, Valentina?
We work organic, so we can use sulfur and copper as a prevention product. But the difference to be like Green Experience Plus or organic like Carlo, that in case of emergency, we can use products that protect the vines from inside. Mm-hmm. Inside. Yeah.
So, Mama, a lot of work being done by hand, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love this photo of your dad and Lydia. So this is a good segue as we begin to move into our next presentation. Thank you so much, Valentina. Oh, we're going to come back to that later. So I appreciate all that. We're going to come back with questions and answers period, which is interactive. So I hope everybody puts their questions down in the chat. And thank you, Valentina. Sit back and we'll throw it over to Carlo. Welcome, Carlo, from Deltetto. You are right now in Alba, but Deltetto is located in Canale, correct?
Yeah. Ciao, Suzanne.
Ciao.
Yes, I'm in Alba because I told before I'm so Paula Valentina's sister is my wife, so we need to find a place in between, a neutral place to live, and so Alba is almost the center of the area, as you can see on the map. So it's where we live, yes. But the Deltetto winery is in Canale. It is the largest village of the Roero area. Romina told before that my grandfather started the estate, and that's true, in 1953. I'm Carlo like him, so I'm very proud to have his name. This is, in Piemontese we say Carlin. It means small Carlo. We like to change a bit of the name as a nickname. And this is the family. So with my two sisters, my father, and my mother and my grandmother, Caterina, and also we have all the next generation. So Lydia and Anna, my daughters, and Leone and Bianca, the daughters of Cristina. So it's becoming a very large family. In fact, you see from the picture, we are all very, very, very close all together. Next picture, I don't know what we can do. So we need to have a bigger camera. Yeah, here's my grandfather in the vineyard and in the south. So as Romina told at the beginning, my family is making wine. So since the 19th century, but for sure it was not true that we were only wine producers. So I'm officially the third generation, because my grandfather started in 1953 the estate Deltetto winery. So it was Deltetto Carlo at the beginning, the name of the winery. Why I told you that we were making wine before? Because as many people, many wineries, we were first farm, so not only wine producer. It was almost a rural area, so we were not only wine producer. We had vegetable, we have fruit. So Canale is very famous for the peaches, for example. We have livestock. So you can imagine we were very big families. So part of the what we get from the soil, from the vineyards was used for the family. My grandfather comes from a family of 10, between brothers and sisters. My grandmother too. So you can imagine, after the uncle and the mother and the father and the daughter, the son. So it becomes very, very like a little village only from one family. And that's why it was similar to many other families in the past. After the war, there was a big change. There was new opportunities, new possibilities. And so my grandfather decided to follow his passion, the wine. And at the beginning was not alone, with two other brothers for the first years. And then from the 60s, it was only Deltetto Carlo winery. So now I'm officially the third generation. And I like to tell this because before was not only wine producer. On the picture you have my father. For sure, he's a very, very important part, very, very important part of our winery. So yes, I'm with my two sisters running the business, but without Antonio, we cannot do, we cannot work, we cannot manage all the vineyards, all the winery, and for sure, we'll be not there talking about Roero, and for sure not talking about the spumante that Cheryl is drinking now for his birthday. So yeah, okay. Canale is where our family is born. We moved from the village of Canale because at the beginning the family was in the hills around Canale. To be honest, now is difficult to arrive with a car, so that's why my grandfather decided to move just 5 minutes by car, not a lot. But in the valley, so in a place easier to make and to start and to build a winery in that period. But for sure, all the hill around Canale, and all our winery, vineyards are around Canale. So this is one of our most historical vineyards. For sure, the most historical vineyard for the grape Arnese. That I'm going to tell you a few things after that.
San Michele, right? You forgot to
San
give
Michele,
us...
yeah. San Michele. At the top, you can see now this is a picture from in the winter time. So the vine is not still working, still waiting to start again in the spring. But it's fun because you can see in the middle there is a the church of San Michele, St. Michael. That's why we name this hill San Michele. We have many churches, many chapels on our hills protecting the vineyards. So that's why every hill normally is named as a Saint something. So St. Michael, San Defendente we have also. And then close to that there is the Chabot. There are few Chabots. This is in the center is our Chabot. The other one, yes, this one. Chabot, it's a small house. It's not a house where you can live inside. So maybe you can stay for not for a long time. But the Chabot is a very traditional construction in our hills because it was the place where you can rest a little bit during the day, because normally you were not coming back during the day when you were working in the vineyard, so you can have a little lunch there. You can stock water, wine. In fact, here we have a little park underground where normally in the past we were putting the snow in the winter time, and you can use it as a fridge for the spring and summertime, when the fridge was not invented. So it was invented, but not to use it in Piemonte. And that's quite an interesting view. And this is the spring. So then you can see I take this picture I think 3 weeks ago, more or less. And so you can see the difference between the winter time. You can see how it's green, this hill. 2 reasons. Because we are organic certified, so we are not, as Valentina was explaining you, any herbicide or something like that. So we only can cut the grass. This is only we can do. But also because this year May was perfect. So the lockdown, June, okay, started to rain many times a week. So this year the nature is so green. It's not easy, to be honest, working in, but it's so beautiful, so beautiful.
So that's your white grape, the Arnese, correct?
Yeah. So talking about the area, we are in Roero. Roero is the name of the area. So normally the denomination in Italy, in Piemonte in particular, they come from a single village. So as Barbaresco is, for example, Barbaresco is the name of the most important village, Barolo, talking about the area around where we are. But in Roero is different. The name comes from the area. So the name of the area is the name of the old family that was the most important, the Count Roero. It was the most important family in the Middle Age in this area, and is the name of the wine, the DOCG Roero. And there is another very interesting thing, because usually the denomination, the DOCG, are only focused on one grape, red or white, it depends. Here, almost red. Our denomination is a little bit different, because for sure we are focused, like Barbaresco, in Nebbiolo grape. So if it's red, Roero is Nebbiolo made. But Canale, Roero in general, is the place where the Arnese grape is born. And so it's a white grape. It means a little rascal in our dialect. And so it's very interesting that, so our denomination, Roero, can be white, it is Arnese, or can be red, it is red. There are 2 faces. And that's very interesting, because the Nebbiolo is, so popular in all Piemonte, but Arnese is born in Roero area. And you, Suzanne, know very well about Arnese.
Yeah. Little Arnese is running around. I'm probably the only one with a dog named that. So, but you have something else you wanted to share with us today that's really kind of it's an older experience of your family, meaning you've been making Metodo Classico for about, 20 years now, a little commercially, but you've got a new adventure, I call it, not just a new venture, with a new denomination. Would you tell us about that? Yeah,
so I told you that at the beginning that without my father, I can be there talking about my winery, but in particular, they're talking about the sparkling, the spumante, the method champenoise, the traditional method. So there are many ways to say the same wine. But yes, you're right. It's 20 years. 20 years ago we made in 2000 the first Pinot Noir Chardonnay spumante. But it was in 1980 that my father made his first spumante. So this year is 40 years. For sure, the first 20 years were a little bit you know, it was like a hobby, a little production every year. We started with Arnese and then a little bit of Nebbiolo. And the market, to be honest, was not ready for the spumante. There wasn't a big consumption of spumante also in Italy. After that, my father decided to follow a dream, and in 1997 he planted some Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. In 2000 we had the first issue of this wine. We believe that Pinot Noir and Chardonnay were grapes, better in terms of acidity for making spumante than Arnese grape. We still use Nebbiolo for our rosé. That's very traditional, but for the white we use Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. So now what we did a few years ago, so to be honest, we started 10 years ago to image this new adventure, because when you talk about making a new wine in a new area, you need to look at the place, plant the vineyards, so prepare the soil, plant the vineyard, harvest the first year, so after 3 years, and then making the wine. So this wine arrived on the market after 3 years, the harvest. So it means that almost is 10 years for drinking the first bottle. That's why I'm here now with the 2016, the first year. And the denomination is Alta Langa. So Roero is a little in the north. Alta Langa is a little bit in the south. So it's the border of Barolo and Barbaresco area. In fact, without this label, you can look at the Serralunga Castle in front of us. So Alta Langa means Alta is the highest part of the Langa area. We are here at between 450 to 600 meters of altitude in the Rodino place. And Alta Langa is a new denomination because the first Monte in Piemonte was made, in Italy was made in Piemonte in 1861. So when the reunion of Italy was made, so more than 150 years ago. But Alta Langa is quite a young denomination, made in 2002. I believe it's a great place to grow spumante because we can have more acidity because of the highest place, and so we can arrive to have a very balanced wine, perfect to make spumante. We are in between in the border of vineyards and hazelnuts. That's where the Alta Langa lives, because maybe you cannot do a very concentrated red wine there, maybe in the future, because the climate change is working fast. But you can make a very interesting white, and why not spumante wine? So this is the idea of the Alta Langa, and yes, this is the first bottle we make, the first issue. It's not close to us, though, so we need to drive for about 30, 40 minutes, depends if you are Italian or not. But you can imagine with a tractor is not around the corner, no? So that's why we have a little farm there, a little house with a guy that is growing our vineyards. But for sure, we need to go there almost every week to check everything and to help, because only one person cannot follow all the vineyards we have.
Tell us about the difference in the soil, because I know a lot of people wonder, the soil on the north side of the Tanaro, where you have Roero, is quite different from the southern side of the river, Langhe and Alta Langa. And I think this photo shows quite a stark difference. Tell us a little bit about that and what it means to the wines, Carlo.
Yeah, so in the Langhe area, we have more limestone, more clay. It's a little bit more heavy soil, so usually is gonna giving more stronger wine in terms of body. Then if you climb at the altitude we are, you can find a lot of stone also. So the stone of the Langhe, you can see many houses, many old cascine made with the stone from. So it's we are in between. Alta Langa is between of the hills and mountains, so because we can arrive 800 meters in Alta Langa, so it's almost a mountain. So in the Roero area, we have a very unique soil, completely different than the other part of the river, because you can imagine that the north of Italy was in the past was an ocean many millions of years ago. So the last part that rise from this ocean was the Roero, and that's why we can find a different kind of soil. There is more sandstone. So this percentage of sand is much more higher than all the rest of the area. So means that we have more delicate white and red wines, and that's why is a suitable soil for making white wine. That's why Provence found the place to grow. You can find also many shells, many fossils. That's why the wine is on the picture. The San Michele is part of a special selection we made that is going to show shells. Every wine is going to show different shells on the label. All these are fossils that we found in our vineyards. Why? Because it's a Marinerian soil, so that's why we have always very salty and more acidity on our wines.
And so here, what is this is your little sister, Claudia. What is she up to here? Tell us a little bit about that. We're still in Alta Longa, right?
Yeah, we are in Alta Longa. We are planting the last part of our vineyards. So a part is already in production. A part is not planted, and we planted about 3 months ago. So it was just after the lockdown. So that's why this year it's a particular year. Usually my two sisters are spending more time in the winery because we have many people to follow and visit tourist people, many things to do to follow the clients, the bureaucracy, as Valentina was saying before. So during the lockdown, everyone was in the vineyards. So these days, my sister joined us to the winery. Also, I'm usually working into the winery because I'm preparing all the. I was there. We are planting a new Alta Longa vineyard. This is a Pinot Noir. We use Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. So the vine are planted. They are very small, like that. So the roots are from the roots part is from America, because we need to protect from the phylloxera. And you are lucky because your vine can survive to the phylloxera. And this is something that we use since the beginning of the problem of phylloxera that we have at the beginning of the last century. The upper part is nested on the American part, and this is the Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Arnaise, Nebbiolo, Barbera, whatever you like. So this is the way we work, and everyone works. So Claudia was planting one of this young vine using a fork. We name as a fork. You can do that only when the soil is soft. So this part of the vineyard was prepared well, and the terroir was more softer. In the other side, we need to make a hole before and then planting. You cannot go down directly with a fork because there were too many stones, and so the soil was too strong, as I told you before, too heavy. So probably we're going to have a different also expression at the end between this part of the winery and the other part, and that's why it is so unique, and that's why in the hill we can make different kind of cru, different kind of expression of the same grape, because the terroir is giving many differences, and if you have a part on another part, you can have more body, less body, more acidity or less, more expression in nose, more deep taste. So it changed a lot. That's why we make many cru and many wines.
Wow. And this is your first release of the Alta Longa this year, correct?
Yeah. 2016 was the first release, so 3 years on aging on the lees. So normally the spumante you can make in 2 ways. So the classic spumante, the Charmat method, as I don't know, Asti spumante or Prosecco, talking about Italian wines. Usually the youngest and more refreshing, a little bit aromatic wines are made with the Charmat method. So you ferment in a tank, you bottle the wine, and you are ready the year after the harvest, usually, or maybe 18 months or 9 months, 10 months. With the spumante champenoise, or I cannot say that because I'm not from Champagne, so traditional method.
You're among friends.
Metodo classico. The aging, the fermentation, the second fermentation, so the bubbles that are created by the yeast that ferment the sugar and are making the bubbles, the carbon dioxide, is made in the single bottle. So every bottle is a small tank. So that's the beauty of the spumante traditional method, is this one, because this every bottle is a small tank, and in every bottle there are the lees that fermented the wine, but much more important are giving the taste, the flavor, the aroma. Much more you leave this wine on the lees, you can have much more taste, much more from the flavor of the lees. So the Alta Langa is 3 years now. We can make, we made 16 months or more, if you like.
And Carlo, explain a little bit about the lees before we go to question and answer, for those that aren't quite familiar with this method. What are the lees?
The lees. So the lees are microorganisms that they are fermenting the wine. So every wine is made. So the must is for sure without alcohol. So it's sugar only inside. And the lees can be natural, can be selected, so, but are all natural. The selected are natural yeast selected because they ferment very well. Maybe you want and different kind of wine, maybe they need different kind of lees. So this yeast are transforming the sugar in alcohol, and they produce carbon dioxide. Usually this carbon dioxide, if you make a classic wine, is going in so that partie des anges in the hair, so we don't need that. But when you make a spumante, this is very important because it's going to giving the bubbles. So that's why we in a Shamar method we use a under pressure tank. So we all the bubbles, all the carbon dioxide remaining into the tank. We bottle the wine with a special machine under pressure, and so we have the wine ready, quite like for the spumante or Asti spumante or Moscato d'Asti, for example. For the spumante metodo classico is different, so we use a bottle, and so this yeast that transforms the sugar in alcohol, the carbon dioxide that they produce remain into the bottle, and this is why we have the bubbles. Mm-hmm. Much more time you leave this in the bottle, and much more taste from the lees you have. So it depends in the wine you like. The Alta Langa, this one, for example, we prefer to have something more refreshing, the taste not just from the lees, but also from the fermentation of the grapes. So it stays only for 3 years. The extra brut, for example, 60 months, or we have now in the cellar. This is quite a preview of 10 years wine on the lees. These are more. They are more tasted. The taste is more coming from the lees. So it's more, how do you say, bread, toasted bread, and that's very much more interesting. A wine that in this I prefer to match with food in particular. So that's different kind of wine made with. It is where we age the wine.
Well,
so at the end, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Now at the end of this bottle in horizontal position, because we need to have the best, the bigger contact with the lees and the wine. At the end of that, we need to remove. That's the problem of the method or traditional method, because in a tank you can filter the wine, no problem. You need just a filter that can support the pressure. Here we need to reopen every bottle. So we have you can do by hand or by machine, and remove the sediment. We can do that moving the bottle with the neck down, so in this position, and then all the sediment will be there. We freeze this part of the wine. Every bottle is freezed. In this way, we can turn. We just touch the cork. This is a classic bottle, but just to understand. And the pressure inside is splitting the sediment you have. So at the end, you have the wine clean. That's a very old method, but still works. It's complicated, but.
Well, thank you, Carlo. I have to say that your bubbles and the Alta Langa bubbles are just amazing, and it's just wonderful to be able to be part of seeing all of this happen, the birth of a new appellation. And so many wineries are producing wonderful wines in that region, as you are. And I thank you and your father and your sister so much for all the hard work you're doing there. I want to go back, when we start our question and answer period, I want to ask Valentina a question. Other than Milo and Nebia and Teen there, tell us what this is on the left-hand side, because many Piemontesi still have that in their kitchens. Would you explain what that is and what it's used for? It's a stufa, yeah.
I can't see any photos, Suzanne.
Okay,
Oh,
it's
okay, awesome.
yeah, you see it?
Yeah. Yeah, now I see it. Yeah, so this is a potager where my mother cook a lot of dishes, very, very good dishes. And yeah, especially during COVID time, we had a lot of food cook above the potager. And it's a very good way of cooking because it's very slow cooking. So the soup and the food taste different.
Yeah, it's the ultimate in slow cooking. I had one time a wonderful meal by Eli Altari's sister at Nadia Curto's mother, and it was just fabulous. So I think what we'll do now is I'm going to toss it back to, thank you so much for that, Valentina and Carlo, but I'm going to toss it back to Romina because she's been watching the questions come in. So Romina?
Yes, sure. Okay, so.
Well, let's give you a moment to catch your breath. Valentina, why don't you answer that question?
So the best season to come in Langa.
Yeah.
So I'm going to repeat. I have a question from Michael Brassman, okay, that wants to know when is the best time to visit the region in terms of agriturismo, to come to the agriturismo, what kind of months or time in the months you suggest to come and visit?
Best time of year.
Yeah, I like a lot the summer because it's a good season. There is usually sun, so I like a lot the summer to come. But October, November are really, charming because of the fog. So can be colder and can be more humidity around, but it's charming too. And during September, October, there are a lot of typical dishes of the season, like food with the truffle, with the mushrooms. So it can be nice too.
I think Piemonte is fabulous every month of the year, every day of the year. People don't go much in December, and I have to tell you, that's a wonderful time to be there because it's relatively quiet. The families have more time for you. And there's the Christmas spirit in the air. It's Advent. So I highly recommend that people start to explore a bit Piemonte during the early part of December, all the way through Christmas. So what's our next question, Romina? Thank you,
I would like to know more about the, the method that you're going to use for the hail to protect, the vineyard from the hail. I'm interested in that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have cannons spread out in all the area of Barbaresco. So it covers the three villages, Traiso, Barbaresco, and Neiva. And these cannons are activated, but every people responsible or people who farmers who lives by the cannon, and they must activate when there is bad weather coming. So when there is black clouds, bad weather is coming. So they are activated and they spray in the sky this kind of gas or of air that should melt the clouds. So there are a lot of people that say it's not fair, it doesn't work, but we believe a lot in this system, and many damages have been saved. So we keep going to use them. Yeah.
I'm trying to.
In Barbaresco and Roero during the storm is like there is like a war. So believe me, it's like it's like a war. But yeah, it works. Or maybe we have some, but not often as often than other parts. So I don't know if we are less maybe in an area Barbaresco and Roero, maybe other parts the storm arrived before. But yes, we have less problem. So maybe they can do something, maybe not, they cannot solve everything, but yes. The other way is the net, but no, it's more and more problematic to use.
Yeah, we have
in Barolo there are a lot of nets against hail problem.
Yeah, that's what I understand, that the hail over there is sometimes, it seems worse. It seems the damage there in the last few years has been worse.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, probably because it's arriving from the storm usually.
Sure.
And so
we have a question from Amanda Stott. Is she asking about to explain the difference between the normal label, the Deltetto label, and Deltetto 1953? What is the difference?
No, I answered by chat that 1953 is the year of foundation. Also, every label will show Deltetto 1953 on. So it's not a special. There is a difference between our classic line and the shells line that Suzanne shows before. So I have a classic line label here, where we have the wheel and a vine. This is the logo of the family. This is in the center because this is from the classic line. The wheel, told you before, the Roero name comes from the family Roero. And so this noble family had the 3 wheels on his the logo, family logo. We are not noble, so we only have 1, but maybe many wineries, or not just wineries, manufacturing in the area are using a wheel, or maybe 2, or maybe 3. The Enoteca of Roero has a wheel. The consortium of Roero has a leather bag with a wheel on the back. So it's being part of this large family. So that's the difference. The difference between the two lines is this is the classic, and the shells that Suzanne shows before on our San Michele, for example. There is this shells because it's only used for 4 bottles that are very special selection of the winery, and the shells remind to our to the origin of our marine origin soil.
Mm-hmm. I have another question. Can you also explain the difference between Nebbiolo, Riserva, Barbaresco, and Barolo?
Allora, Nebbiolo, Riserva, no. So Nebbiolo is the grape that everyone use for making this wine. So Nebbiolo is used in many parts of Piemonte, and every area is showing a different denomination that normally is coming from the village. So there is not only Barbaresco, Roero, where I am, Barolo, but in the north of Piemonte there is Gattinara, Bocca, Gemme. All these places are using Nebbiolo for making the grape. After that, every denomination that can be DOC or DOCG, but cannot change. It's not changing a lot. Can change the rules. For example, we are similar, Roero and Barbaresco, for the same aging of the classic Roero and Barbaresco, because it's minimum 2 years of aging almost. Barbaresco is few months of different, but almost the same. Barolo is 1 more year for the minimum. Then there is the Riserva, Riserva Roero, Riserva Barolo, Riserva Barbaresco. And then there is the classic Nebbiolo, Langhe Nebbiolo or Nebbiolo d'Alba. So when you see the Nebbiolo on the label, usually is a younger wine, maybe 1 year aged or not more. The denomination Roero, Barbaresco, and Barolo are just a selection of the best vineyards. So you can only use a special vineyard, special selection. You need to have a special concentration, a special taste for having this DOCG. The Riserva is only more aged.
So, Romina, I'm going to jump in here because I want Valentina to explain, because you see also the Riserva, it's kind of a confusion perhaps between the Roero Nebbiolo and the Reserva, and also explain about, say, for example, your Asili Reserva. What's the difference if I see Asili Reserva or just plain Asili? What is the difference between those two wines?
Yeah, so the normal Barbaresco wine is released after 24 months aging in oak barrel at the beginning of the 3rd year far from the harvest. This is the normal Barbaresco. The Barbaresco Riserva is released 5 years after the harvest. So it's much longer, it takes much more time to make it. So the aging about Riserva is always 2 years in oak barrel. But then the other extra 3 years, the wine has to stay in the cellar, in the winery. And our Riserva Asili sleep 1 extra year in ceramic barrel and 1 other year in bottle. So,
and you don't make the Reserva every
quantity and kilos of grapes per hectare are much lower for the Riserva. So it's a low yield.
Yeah.
Low yield.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. There was a little bit of delay, but do you make that wine every vintage or only in special vintages, the Reserva?
Yeah, we would like to make every vintage, of course. Actually, we didn't make Riserva 1 year, but it was our mistake. The vintage 2014 was amazing. So sometimes, you know, we can make a mistake. So we didn't make a Riserva in 2014, but it is a vintage. It was a vintage that really is really good. So it happened.
I just got a note from Carla. I see that Claudia is online. Could we show Claudia, one of Carla's sisters who was planting the vines? Claudia, where are you? Speak up.
Suzanne.
Okay.
There is also Paola and Fede, I think.
Oh, okay,
Paola
we'll
and
get some of the family on. I'd love everybody to introduce. So Romina, would you make sure they're muted? Paolo Grasso and
yes, I asked them to unmute. They have to unmute themselves. I asked them to unmute, so they have to unmute their.
Okay, Claudia, are you on?
Claudia, microfono.
Claudia, dove? Okay, how about Paola? We'll let Claudia work through that. Is Paola and Fede, are you all on? Okay, they're on, but they're not.
So, yes, there is Paola. There is.
Claudia.
There is Paola. There is Claudia.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, now they're able to unmute themselves. Look at, you know, ask them to unmute themselves.
Okay. Claudia, are you unmuted? They're shy. So, well, while they are unmuting, I will, while they're unmuting, a lot of people ask, where can I get the wines? Unfortunately, in Minneapolis, in Minnesota, you can't find at this time Deltetto or Baio. We have 50 states, as you know, and each state is different with representations quite often. Sometimes you have an importer who has an exclusive, and sometimes you have per state. So we don't have representation yet in Minnesota for Deltetto and Baio, but we hope that changes. Unfortunately, John Rittmaster had to pop off, but he is in Walnut Creek, California. He is really great at sourcing wines. And another way you can obtain the wines is directly from the wineries. shipping these days has come down quite a bit in price, particularly if you look at the unit price and you order more. The per unit price is quite competitive with what you might find in a liquor store. So you can go to the websites of these producers, and I will also type in some, I think John Rittmaster typed in his information before. But anyway, you can contact me at Arneis, ARNEIS, @me.com, and I can give you all of the information. So do we have Claudia now joining us?
Okay, I'm going to try one more time, okay, to see if they can unmute themselves, you know, let's see.
Claudia told me that has a problem with the microphone because he's using an iPad and the microphone is not activated. I don't know.
Yeah, everything that I have here say everybody can unmute themselves. So, you know, I don't know why she's not able, but everybody can unmute themselves if they want.
Well, Romina, somebody just popped up, and I would like to introduce him to everyone, because we wouldn't be sitting here today, at least I wouldn't be sitting here with you today, if it wasn't for Jeffrey Chilcott, who just popped in. He is the cellar master at Marchesi di Grezi in Barbaresco. He is a Kiwi celebrating his 30th anniversary in Piemonte, and I would like him to unmute himself so he can say hi to everybody.
You know, let's see. I mean, I see Jeff, you know, but I see that he doesn't have neither the microphone on, you know. So let's see if he can chat. You know, he could chat, like Claudia can chat.
Okay.
So maybe Jeff can chat, you know, in the chat box.
Can you put Jeff in speaker view?
Yes, I can for sure.
We can at least see Jeffrey.
Okay.
So I met Jeffrey back in 2000. So I've known Jeffrey now for 20 years. And it was through Jeffrey that I began to meet the winemakers and the wine families, I should say. And he's the one that introduced me to Deltetto after a birthday party for my husband one year. We had this wonderful white wine, and I called him and said, we're coming down to Piemonte in 2 weeks. Can you please tell me, who is Deltetto? And I think it was 2003 that we met Deltetto, and the rest is history. I have to make a disclaimer that we love spending Christmas with the Deltetto and Grasso family. And I thank Jeffrey so much. There he is, Jeffrey, we see you here, Jeff. Sit back. There he is.
Hello.
Jeffrey.
Sorry, I'm a bit late.
Okay. So Jeffrey, welcome. And you're up in Monferrato, right?
No, Casenternella, the last village of the province of Cuneo before you touch Asti.
I didn't realize you were on that side. Okay. Well,
yeah, we're right on the border here. We're right on the border.
Well, Jeffrey, I thank you so much for all the, you're going to show us the Moscato vines. I thank you so much for all the introductions you've made through the year, because without you, Labor of Love wouldn't have been possible. And all these connections that I've made wouldn't have been possible. And I know it's a tough time for you all.
Yeah, we've been busy, Suzanne. Everyone's been sort of active. A lot of work in the cantina, a lot of work in the vineyard. We had almost like an autumn day yesterday. Today's beautiful. The sun's come out, the mountains have come out, the shadows on the hills. It's beautiful.
Well, we're glad you could at least come and say hi, because we had a great presentation from Valentina and Carlo telling us about Altalanga. And so please, thank you so much. Do we have Paola or Federica?
Yeah. Yes. There is Paola and Fede and Papa. Can you see them?
No.
Ciao, Vale.
Ciao, Jeff.
Perfect. Yes.
Last night we had a good party last night.
Look, what do we have there? We have welcome. So this is Paola Grasso, who is married to Carlo, and Federica, the other sister. So we see the three sisters, and there we see Papa Giulio. Hi, ciao Giulio, come va? They can't hear right now. So But
Yeah.
anyway, so now you see the whole Grasso family, except for Mama. Luciana's not around. She's looking for her. But anyway, any more questions? Oh, they're at a restaurant. There is Mama Luce. Luciana, ciao. Ciao, Mama. Ciao. She's blowing kisses. So thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. So Romina, do we have any other questions?
Okay, let's see here. No, we don't have any more questions. And we are running a little bit, we're 10 minutes, over time. So
Okay,
I think it's time to wrap it up. So I want to thank you, Suzanne, again. Thank you to Valentina. Thank you to Carlo. It's a wonderful opportunity for you guys to be here and show your hard work that you're doing over in Italy. And we wish you the best, for the harvest and, the months to come. And remember, everyone, our audience, that, next Sunday again at 12:30 to 1:30 Central Time, we'll see other two families from the Barolo area. We're going to meet Chiara Boschis and also Isabella Boffa Odero. So thank you again to everyone, and I hope that you have a nice rest of the weekend, and thank you so much. Grazie mille.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Romina. Thank you, Valentina. Bye, Jeffrey. Bye, everybody. Baci, baci. Ciao, ciao. Buona serata.
Ciao a tutti.
Ciao a tutti.
Grazie.
Ciao, grazie mille, ragazzi.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.